again, happy Wednesday. Good afternoon. So we had a picture here, right? I have this picture and it says, what do you notice about this picture and what do you wonder? I didn't get a lot of people wondering. I got a lot of people noticing stuff, but you didn't wonder anything. You need to take that next step and look at something and see if you wonder something. Now, if you didn't wonder anything, if you looked at it and go, yeah, mister, it's pretty straightforward. I didn't wonder anything. Okay, that's fun. That's fair. That's fine. But look at things. I'm going to be asking these questions. You're going to see a lot of warm-ups like this where I put a picture up or I put something up and you have to look at it and you have to tell me what you think about it. And then you have to tell me what you wonder about it. Right. So, like any questions you have. So start looking at things and start questioning things, right? Start saying, why is this like that? And I noticed this is going on. Why? You know, that question. Tell me why. Right. So sometimes that goes on in your head that you want to know why something's going on. So if we look here, let's read your responses. So it says the shape reflects. I notice the shapes are mirrored. I notice the picture is mirrored. They are reflected. I notice that the picture is I noticed that in the picture the shape is reflected. I noticed that in the picture a shape is I just read that. And it changes from negative to positive numbers and the negative one stays. The opposite of each number, that's what they notice. There's opposites there. Reflection. Did you wonder why? Is that a wonder you guys have? Why are some of the numbers, they look the same, but one's negative and one's positive? Is that a wondering you had? See, that's something you could have put in there. Like, hey, I wonder why. Why? Tell me why. Right? They are the same shapes, but on the opposite side of each other, like a mirror effect. They are opposite of each other. They are a reflection. They are the same and yet also different, someone said. I noticed two of the same shapes and wonder, oh, here we go, our first wonder. I wonder why they are flipped, pointing at the same direction. It is reflected and both are opposite from each other, one being negative, the other being positive. I noticed the triangle on the left is a reflection of the triangle on the right. I noticed they are reflected, are the same points but opposite from each other. I wonder the steps it takes to move them this way. Oh, there you go. How do you do this? So if I gave you one, and I think your wonder is kind of thinking forward, you're thinking, okay, this triangle has no little mark, so this is the original image. If Mr. is going to give us this, how do I get it over there? What do I need? And then the last person said, why are the numbers like that? They're wondering why are the numbers like that? So we are going to be talking about, and most of you said it, right? We're going to be mirroring stuff. We're going to be reflecting stuff, right? And if you notice, these two shapes are exactly the same. And a lot of you did notice that. They're exactly the same, but they're pointing different ways. Their orientation is different, but the exact same shape. Oh my gosh. I told my 11th period I was going to prepare. Like I didn't have this prepared, and then I didn't do it. So then here, I'm going to make a paper triangle. Okay, let me make a paper triangle. I should have scissors here. I should have shapes ready to go, right? Geometry class, I should have shapes ready to go. And I don't. That's my fault. I apologize. I'm going to order some today. Come on. Okay, so here's a triangle, okay? Here's a triangle that I just made. And here, let's call it the mirror. So let's say here's a mirror. So if I want to reflect it on the other side, if you notice, it has to flip over and face the other direction. If I want, I guess we can kind of look like this, right? It flips over. I know I lost the corner of that one. I'm sorry. But it flips over. It flips over. So it's facing, instead of the pointy part facing to the right, the pointy part's facing to the left, but it's the same exact figure. The figure didn't change at all, right? We call that a certain kind of motion when the figure stays the same. So we flip it over. Figure stayed the same. Okay, but they're pointing different directions. So how do we do that? So first, I want to make sure you know, if you go to our course, period 14, you will notice week 4 is right here. So in week 4, we have the lesson video. So again, some of you are saying, Mister, And sometimes it's your internet, sometimes it's my internet, sometimes it's both of our internets. A lot of times it's Zoom, because Zoom, I know that lowers the quality, right? It's blurry, mister. I can't read it. You can always click on here, right, and go to our video. It is on YouTube. Okay, and you can just move to where you want to go, wherever you want to go, and then pause it, and then you can take your notes later. It is in HD. It is in HD. And it would be nice if you can hit that subscribe button. That would be nice if you can subscribe. I'm at 335. Trying to get to 1,000 by the end of the year, but you don't have to. But that's where the videos are. That takes you over there, and it's a lot clearer. It's so much clearer than what you see here, because Zoom does that, and then my internet upload does that, and then your internet download might do that. So all these factors. You'll also see in week 4, we have reflections notes and reflections homework, right? So again, we're going to do new notes today. So I'm going to give you a minute to get these notes together. Now you can click on this, and I know some of you click on this and you go here and you print it out. Some of you write on Cami. If you're doing, please. Some of you like doing Cami. So if you're on Google Chrome, you'll see next to View, you'll see Open with Cami, and some of you like to take notes on Cami and then save it in your Google Drive. You can do that too. If not, some of you take notes in your handy dandy notebook. That means some of you have this open in a tab, your notes open in a tab, and then you just copy the other stuff in your notebook. Some of you say, Mister, I look at that later, but all I do is I follow you, because on the screen I can see the notes and I just follow what's on there and on the screen, and I just copy that in my notebook. However you do it, I'm going to give you a minute to get it ready. So click on the review notes and then print it out or do whatever you need to do. We're going to start this in a minute. Okay. So here's what we're going to be doing. I'll give you a minute to get all that together, okay? Okay. If you're still getting it together, that's fine. That's fine. But so we're talking about reflections. So those of you that looked at that picture and said, hey, that's a reflection, you were absolutely right. Those of you that say mirrored, exactly the same too. Those of you that said flip, also the same. So remember we talked about translations or slides? Translations slide your figure. Well, reflections are a flip over a line. So we have to flip it. Now we just can't flip it anywhere. We have to flip it over a line, right? We have to flip it across a line, and that line is called the line of reflection. I can't write today, I'm sorry. Reflection. Okay, so we flip it over a line called the line of reflection. So if we look at this picture right here, okay, if we look at this picture, can you tell where that line of reflection is? Where's that mirror? It's called the line of reflection, but sometimes I'm going to refer to it as a mirror because that's the middle point. That's the mirror that it's going to flip over. So can anyone see where that line of reflection is? Anybody?
Bueller.
Nobody? Hello?
Bueller. Bueller. Bueller.
Anyone? Where is that line? Look at this picture. If you look here, this is my original. Right? Triangle ABC, and it flipped to A prime, B prime, C prime. Can you see where that line is? Like, where's that middle line? Where's that mirror? Can you tell me where? Anybody? Come on. I can't do this all myself, guys. I need some interaction here. So can you see where that mirror is. Exactly. Thank you. The y-axis. You guys see that? The y-axis. If I drew a line here, that's the mirror, right? Can you see it? It's flipped over. And how can you verify that? How can I verify that? Well, let's look at this. Let's look at C and C prime. I always like to look close to the mirror. And C is how many units away from the y-axis? It's 1 unit away. Right? So if I did that, I say, okay, from here to here is 1 unit. And flip to the other side, it's also 1 unit. Okay, let's look at B. How far is B from the mirror or the line of reflection? 1, 2, 3. It's 3 units away from that mirror, from that line of reflection. And if I look on the other side, B prime is also 3 units. And that's the way it should be. Your flipped image, every point should be the same distance from that middle. And A is a little farther, so let's count. 1, 2, 3. It's 4 units away from the middle. And the other side, 1, 2, 3. It's also 4 units. So yes, the y-axis is your line of reflection. Okay, so good job. So thank you. It took a few minutes, but thank you. Thank you for your answer. Thank you. And if you were wrong, it's okay. I had someone first period say the x-axis, and I said, okay, let's try that, the x-axis. And if I look here, the x-axis, no, because if that's my mirror, that means my A has to be on one side and A prime has to be on the other side, like a mirror, and it's not. But that was a good guess by them, and then they saw the y-axis, they go, oh, okay, yeah, because it has to be on the same level, right? Same level still. All right, so let's finish these. Each point, so what we just did, each point has to be the same distance, doesn't it, from that line of reflection. That's how we do this. So how do we do this, mister? Well, just count how far it is from that mirror and then do the same distance, but on the other side in the opposite direction. Right? And that's what happens in a mirror. So each point and its image are the same distance from the line of reflection. And because, like I showed you before, because the image stays exactly the same, it doesn't change its shape or size, this is a rigid motion, right? Rigid motion means same size, same shape. It's just facing a different direction, right? It's just facing a different direction. So are there any questions there? So reflection is a flip over a line of reflection. Each point is the same distance from the old image to the new image from that middle mirror, that line of reflection. And so here are some common lines of reflection. We're going to look at 3. Okay, today we're going to do first one, and then tomorrow we'll look at the other 2. But there's going to be 3 because we can have a line of reflection anywhere. We can have a line of reflection anywhere. It can be any line. But we're going to stay simple right now. We're going to say, okay, the first way we're going to do this, our line of reflection is going to be the x-axis or the y-axis. Okay, and we saw an example of the y-axis right there. So our common lines of reflection, x-axis and y-axis. Then tomorrow, we're going to talk about vertical and horizontal lines. Okay, so vertical and horizontal lines have equations to them, right? Do you guys remember what a horizontal line looks like, equation-wise? Well, horizontal means a line like this, right? Horizontal means a line left to right. Well, horizontal line is an x equals some number equation, like x equals 5 or x equals 10 or x equals -3, right? An x equals equation is a horizontal line. And a vertical line, right, a line that goes up and down, that is a y equals equation. Y equals some number. Y equals 10, y equals -13, y equals 1. Okay? So that's the second kind. So first kind, x and y axis. We're going to reflect over the x axis or the y axis. Second kind, which will start tomorrow, we're going to do vertical and horizontal lines. You know, Vertical lines that can be anywhere, horizontal lines that can be anywhere. Okay, and we'll have little equations that tells us where. The third kind are the most difficult, but they're not that difficult. They're diagonal lines. Diagonal lines. And we're going to look at two special diagonal lines. And I'm going to put them here, and you're going to go, huh? What? What the heck is that? And we'll talk about them. We're going to look at the y equals x line. That's a diagonal line. That's a basic diagonal line. And the y equals negative x diagonal line. What the heck are those, mister? We'll talk about that when we get there. We'll probably talk about that tomorrow or Friday. Okay, hopefully tomorrow. But today we're going to focus on the x-axis and the y-axis. Okay, so let me give you a minute to copy that. I'll zoom in as much as I can so it's not blurry. So you can give you a minute to copy this. And if you need more time, let me know. So I'll give you a minute to copy this. Okay, so some of you are like, okay, mister. Okay, these are a lot of words. We always do this, mister. We always do this, mister. You give us a bunch of words and definitions and equations and all kinds of stuff. But I want to see it in action. And so that's where most of that's where most of you go, oh, okay. Some of you look at this and go, okay, I think I know what he's talking about. He kind of showed me this picture right here, and that kind of told me what to do, but I'm not 100% clear. Can you do a problem for us, mister? And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So the first kind of problems, if you look on this first page, the first kind of problems that's right here on the left side are reflecting over the x-axis and the y-axis. Okay? Those are the problems we're going to do today. And so let's look at number one. So let's look at the directions first. Always, always, always look at your directions. Graph and label each figure and its image under a reflection in the given line, given the coordinates of the image. Okay, so they're going to give us the image. Remember, the image has points, and then we're going to reflect it. So let's see what we have here. Number one, triangle ABC. So we have a triangle with three vertices, with vertices A, B, and C. And the x-axis is your line of reflection. So the first thing I like to do is I like to draw my mirror. So first thing I'm going to do is draw my mirror. So that's the one I'm reflecting. So now I know I'm going up to down or down to up. I'm going this direction so I can see my mirror. I'm not going side to side. So let's plot these points, A, B, and C. So A is negative 4, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So there's A. B is 4, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's B. And C is 5, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1. There's C. And let me connect the dots. Okay, so there you go. ABC, triangle ABC. So now, how do we draw or how do we reflect it? Well, let's do what we did in the original picture. Remember up here? We just looked how far each point was. How far is C from the mirror? And then we just did the same thing on the other side. We just went that same amount of distance, but in the opposite direction. So right here, B was 3 units that way. So on the other side is 3 units in the opposite direction. So let's do the same thing here. So I always like to start on the close one. So if I look at C, C is 1 unit. C is 1 unit. So I'm going to go 1 unit in the opposite direction. And there is my new C. I'm going to call that C prime. All right, let's look at A. A is the next closest. So A is 1, 2. It's 2 units away from the mirror, from the line of reflection. So I'm going to go 2 units in the opposite direction. 1, 2. And there's my new A, or A prime. And then if we look at B, B is a little farther, but we just got to count a little more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 7 units away from that mirror, from that line of reflection. So I'm going to go 7 units in the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Uh-oh, ran out of space. 7. So there's my new B. B prime. And now I just connect the dots. And now you can see A, B, C, and triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. It's just a reflection over the x-axis. Any questions? I'll give you a minute to copy this. All right, time is up. Are there any questions here? So what I did is first thing I did was I drew my line of reflection. Second thing I did was I plotted the points of the original image. And then the third thing I did to get the new image, or to get the image, the new figure, all I did was I counted how far each point was from that mirror. And then I did the same thing in the opposite direction. So since this was 1 unit from the mirror, that's also 1 unit from the mirror, my new C. Since A was 2 units from the mirror, so was A prime, just in the opposite direction. And then B was 7 units away from the mirror, so I went 7 units in the opposite direction to get my new B, my B prime. And that's it. It is that easy. It is that easy. Right? Everyone good? See, this silence, I don't know if it's good silence or bad silence. It can be good silence because you're like, oh my, you're all at home right now going, yes, oh my God, this is so easy. Pacheco, thank you for explaining this to me. I get this. I understand this. Or what else could be happening is none of you are at your computer and I'm talking to nobody. I hope that's not happening. Or the third thing is you are confused, but you don't want to ask. Okay, you have me, you have Miss Rivas. She's here today. You can send her a message if you're confused. But yeah, if there's any confusion here, let me know. I think I hope I made it simple. Draw your line of reflection. Right, I did it with the highlighter. I like using highlighters. And then draw your original figure, ABC. And then find out how. Just look at the points. Again, just like we did before, just look at the endpoints. Look at A, look at B, look at C. And just find out how far they are from that and then go in the opposite direction. That same distance for each point. And there you go. All right, let's try a new one. Let's try number 2. Okay, number 2 says rectangle. So now we have a rectangle. That means 4 sides. PQRS with vertices PQRS they give you. And then they say the y-axis. So now the y-axis is my mirror or my line of reflection. So I'm going to highlight that. There's my mirror. There's my line of reflection. And so now let's plot these points. PQRS. So let's do this. P is 1, 2. So 1, 2. So there's P. Q is 2, 5. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's Q. R is 8, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. That's R. And S is 7, 0. So I'm going to go 7. I'm going to stay on the x-axis because 0 means I don't go up or down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's my S. So let's connect the dots. La, 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 la. So connect those dots. And yes, sir, it is a rectangle. Good job. So now here's the big part. I did the first easy parts. I highlighted my line of reflection. I made my original figure. So now I need to figure out, get it? Figure out, get it? No? Okay. I need to figure out how far each point is from that line, that pink line, and then just on the opposite side, go the same thing, but in the opposite direction. So if I look at P, and I always start closest, P is 1 unit. So I'm going to go the other direction, 1 unit, and there's my new P, P prime. Now let's go to the next one that's out there. I would say Q. Q looks like it's the next one. And Q is 2 units away from that middle. So I'm going to go 2 units in the other direction. 1, 2. And then there's my new Q. Q prime. All right. R or S. They're both way out there. So let me see S. S is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 7 units out there to the right. So I'm going to go 7 units in the opposite direction to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's my new S, and my new S is S prime. I'm S prime. I'm new. And now let's do R. R is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 8 units away. So I'm going to go 8 units in the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's my new R, which I call R prime. Remember, prime just means new. And then I connect those dots, and you can see here you have a perfectly reflected figure. The red reflected to the blue. And it's that easy. Give yourselves a hand. Good job, guys. So I'll let you copy this. I'll give you a minute to copy this. And please ask any questions. You guys have been silent. I've heard nothing from you the past few minutes. And that's dangerous. Again, it's either you guys all get it and you're like, oh my God, this is so easy. I get this. It's the easiest thing I've ever seen in my life. And it's so easy. And thank you, mister. Or you're not there. Or you're so confused you don't want to say anything. Can you at least give me... So I'm looking at your triangles right now. Can you at least give me a reaction with a thumbs up if you get it? Right? Can I see a thumbs up or a check mark? Something. If you don't get it, you can put an open mouth like, oh. You see that? You guys know where the reactions are, right? So you click on that button that says reactions in the bottom, and then choose thumbs up if you're good. Choose the open mouth emoji if you're not good. Come on, guys. Give me something. I want to see. If you get this, I at least want to see a thumbs up, please. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So someone just sent me, and this is okay. This is perfect. Someone just sent me, I didn't really get it, but I'm listening, which is good. So if you don't get it, if there's something about this you don't get, please try to ask me the specific question. Like, mister, I get confused when you what? So let's recap. I want to recap this. So first, I'm going to reflect an image, and they tell me what image I have. So so they tell me I have a rectangle, PQRS, and then they tell me the coordinates of the rectangle, PQR and S, and that's what I put right here in red. That's PQR and S. I just plotted those points. The that pink line is my line of reflection. Then why is it the line of reflection? Because they told me right here. It's the y-axis. That's my line of reflection. And so I drew it. And so what I do to flip it to the other side is I just find out how far each point is away from that pink line. So this one's 1 away. So I go 1 in the opposite direction to get my new P. Q is 2 away from the middle. So I go 2 in the opposite direction to get my new Q. R is 8 away from the middle. So I go 8 in the opposite direction to get my new R. And S is 7 away from the middle. So I go 7 in the opposite direction to get my new S. And there you go. All right, so that's it for today, guys. This is how to reflect over the x-axis or the y-axis. 3 easy steps. Step 1, highlight your line of reflection. Step 2, plot the points of the original figure. Plot the points of the figure that they give you, and they usually give you the original figure. And then step 3, get each point and reflect each point. So find out how far it is away from the middle and do the same thing to the opposite direction. Okay. Tomorrow we're going to review this, and we're going to down here put the coordinates of the new points, which we didn't do, which we'll do tomorrow. We put the coordinates of the new points. We'll review a little bit tomorrow, and then we will talk about vertical and horizontal lines and diagonal lines, how to reflect over those. Okay. So thank you guys. Have a great day. If you need any help or have any questions, please send me your questions in Schoology.